and cumulative deltas, ask minus bid volume, all that stuff. You really, how many exchanges are there? 20, 30 exchanges? You're going to aggregate all of that and then combine it? It's very expensive. So what are you guys kind of looking to, I guess, so I've got a bunch of different charts. Oh, I haven't even switched it over. Hold on. I've got a lot of things up on my screen. Center display. There you go. Okay, here we go. So you just tell me which chart you want me to look at, and I'll start with one. This one? So this one has deltas on the left side and volume on the right side. And then it's using this study here to look at the percentage of delta of the total volume of each bar. Yeah, footprint. So there's this footprint, and there's also this flow footprint here. Okay. This one has market depth turned on, so it's a little messy. The footprint. So I've got two footprints. I'll tell you right now, this one will take a long time for me to go over. Like, yeah, this took me a long time. Yeah, it took me a long time. So I'll go over it. Let's make it bigger. Yeah, I mean, if you want it like just as a chart book, go buy it from Ticino. He sells it, but I built it. So mine might be configured completely differently than his. I actually think it is. Because his is not hollow candle. He has a trick where he's moving this over and then possibly widening out the candle width. And then this whole thing is, let's see. Right, this whole thing is squished over to the side, which is why when you look at his bars, right? So this is the center of the bar. The whole configuration is squished up and to the right. And so these bars actually don't have as much width, which I like him to have more width so I have a better visual. And that's why these are hollow. I could do the same trick that he did and create this candle off to the right by, you know, how you sort of create columns within the number bars. Yeah, so he does have it. So if you want to spend €4 or €5 or something, you can avoid this whole thing. So I'm sure that's what he would prefer you to do. But at this point, I don't really care if he prefers one thing or another. Let's see. Block fill space here. So you tell me. Yeah, that's number bars. That's all it is. These are number bars. Probably a lot of people thought it was volume profile. It's not. Again, he might do it differently. I don't know. But anyway, you want me to get into it? I'll get into it if you want. My throat, my mouth is super dry. How much of a? Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go get a drink of water because I'm gonna talk for a little bit longer, and I'll be right back. All right. Can you guys hear me well enough? I hope the music's not too loud. I don't want to be repeating myself if I'm talking quietly. Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, so basically, All right, sweet. All right, so let's get into it. Here's the studies. So we have two footprint types, or two footprint studies, or number bar studies on the chart. So that's number one. Okay, so one, it has to do with the candle. The other has to do with these bars, essentially. Okay. So first of all, when you add your first number bar study, column 1 has nothing in it. Okay, so no text, the background, there's none. So there's nothing in column 1. However, column 2, it does have something in it, and it has a background coloring. So you can copy this, right? So it's no text, so it has no background text, but it has this. It's based on actual volume. This setting doesn't actually matter. What matters is that you're using the column to have a a black background. And then so you want to make sure you change the colors here to black, because it's essentially using, well, let's see. Let me move it off to the side so you guys can see. Go back into the settings for it. It's essentially using this column right here, right, as a black space, so that you can put this column here, so that this column here, once you add it, doesn't automatically center left and use all of this space. So it's just a little trick to use it and have it the same color as your background. So if you don't have a background here that's black, well then you need to make sure you match that background with this color. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So that's probably a part of this that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Okay, so in column 3, right, this is where you have the background type is the volume profile, right, and the background coloring method, you want it based on dominant side ask or bid volume percentage. Okay, and what that's going to do is, right, we're not coloring these gray bars slightly, I guess, wider or darker based on volume. If you're trying to match what's out there in the NinjaTrader platform, if you want here, you could actually make this like a gradient here, so that this would be your darker color, this would be your lighter color, and so volume that was sort of higher would be whiter, right? But because of the visuals of this, if it's dark down here, you may not see it all that well. So I recommend just keeping it the same color gray, or like a brighter gray if you prefer, whatever. So the range 3 color, which this is referring to the 400% imbalance, and then of diagonal based on dominant side ask volume, bid volume percentage, are these two colors here, which is why you get, when you get it like a 400% imbalance from another bar, it is going to color it either blue or pink. So you don't use any of the pullback columns. You obviously don't care too much about the default text colors. You don't care about the minimum highlight or the maximum. You don't care about that. So the point of control, highlight color is, okay, so this is interesting. just going back here. You guys can just copy this. Highlight point of control, you're highlighting it in column 2. Now, this is confusing to a lot of people that use number bars. So you'll probably learn a little bit right here. So you're like, well, column 2 is this black column, right? Right? It's the black column. No, it's not. It treats this, because you have nothing in it, as not column 1. This is now column 2 as it's displayed on the chart. Or I'm sorry, this is column 1, this is column 2. Because this column 1 in the settings is not being used. It's all blank. So on the chart, in the, like, if you can think of this bar as like a slot or something that has column 1, column 2, column 3 as a max number of columns displayed, whatever's being displayed here in reality is column 1, and whatever's being displayed here is column 2. So it's a little confusing because they don't match. You think, oh, well, the POC highlight color refers to these columns here in the settings. No, it refers to what's being visibly displayed. So that's confusing for a lot of people. It was confusing to me for a while. So you're actually highlighting with your, sorry, scroll down here. Highlighting your point of control as a box in column 2, and you're making it white. Right? Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I know it's a little confusing. It's even difficult for me to try to explain a little bit because I'm like, whoa. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. I hope you guys are following along. A lot of the rest of this you don't have to worry about. Cool. Yeah. It's. I know the number bars, they took me a little bit of time to get used to. So the open and close marker style, you're setting it on this number bars to none. Right? And you might be thinking, wait a second, he's using black here. Right? Think about it. We're setting up this column 2 as just a black background. So that's why it's being used here, right? And that's why this is off to the right a little bit, right? So like when you highlight this, the middle of that is here, right? Going straight up. That's why it's empty, right? Because it's all a black background. And that's why we need a separate number bars to display the candle. Because otherwise the candle will be too fat, okay? So there's some more tricks to be done to get this to be smaller, okay? Highlight point of control, column 2. No open and close marker style on this number bar setup. I don't think we need it. None of this, none of this. So here's where you want to make sure that you're setting this correctly. The percent compared thresholds. You want to make sure that the third one is set to 4, essentially. And that's all that matters. You could set these to 0 for all that it matters, because those percent compared thresholds are looking at this middle area. So, all right, this is compared threshold 0, up and down. Here's 1, up and down, 2, up and down, and then 3. So 3 refers back to, see, this is the first percent. 1, 2, 3. So that's the 400%. That gets you these bars, right? The buy or the sell at the 400%. Okay. Let's see. Moving down here. We aren't using a lot of this. We're not using actual volume. So like all these settings, they don't matter because you're not using them in your let's see. you're not using them here, right? The coloring method or the text method, right? If you're not using it, it's not going to matter. It's not actual volume. You're using the percentage, so it doesn't actually look at that setting. It ignores it. All right. Maybe make sure your default background color is black. If you haven't used number bars before very much, require one tick data storage time unit, always make sure that's yes, and then make sure in Sierra chart, in your general settings, there's a settings area that defines how what your data coming in is like. It needs to be tick by tick data. So anyway, this is where you need to make sure that the spacing adjustment for this number bars is set to 3. So let's take a look. Look at here on the left side, or on the right side of these bars. Watch what happens when I move it. Right? You see that? This is essentially the spacing adjustment from left to right. So as the numbers get bigger, it offsets it by more to the right. Watch this. 10. Oh, sorry. 15. Oh, opposite way. Sorry. Goes offset, sets it by to the left. Sorry, I stayed up all night doing this almost, figuring it out. So I forgot. So we're maximizing this all the way to the right, and that's why you have to have essentially what that column 2, which is actually column 1 for some of the settings, right? It's kind of confusing. That's why you have to have column 2 as like a blank background, so that these bars here aren't over the whole area. Otherwise, they'll overlap with this candle that we're going to add afterward. So hopefully that makes sense to y'all. All right. So, but this is how 3 is going to get you the widest possible volume bars. Could you hide the study? Could I hide the study? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, yeah. Just to see what the effect is? Sure. Yeah, look. Yeah, see that? So that's what this part is affecting, are these bars? Yeah, but again, it's taking up 2 columns to get this spacing, essentially. Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit better to show that. That was a good suggestion. So again, I've seen the same thing, but I don't like the spacing of it. It's and I don't know how they accomplished it, but it's all, this bar, this candle here is solid, and it's tighter, and it's offset to the right, so these bars aren't as wide, and I don't like that. But again, if you're copying something in NinjaTrader, then you have to do that, and you don't get the bars as wide. So my suggestion for Sierra chart is going to be, you know how here, let me close this. Let's look at the delta footprint. So you see how these open to close color boxes act right here. My suggestion to Sierra chart would be to using the exact same width and everything like that, have basically a candlestick with the wick. I think that would be really just a nice visual to add, and I don't know that it would take them all that much to add it as a candle type or whatever in the study. I don't think it would take that much work for them to do that, but again, because each of these lines has maybe a background or something, maybe the candle would be broken out just because of how they wrote the study. I don't know, but I certainly want to ask them about it. So or suggest it. I just don't want to suggest it before they finish doing their CME routing. I just don't want to clog up their forum or anything like that anymore. Once they finish the CME routing, I'll suggest it or something. Anyway, so going back into this, Here, let's make sure we move it off a little bit so we could see what our effect is. So little movement, jeez. What are ATRs here? 1.55? 14 period ATR, it's up here. Anyway. So going back up here, we need to do a separate number bars study for the footprint candle, okay? So you're going to add number bars for this. So you can see how this is going to take some time. I haven't even got to all these other studies. Bananas! So you do want to have a full background in column 1 to get the candles to look about this small. And it does not matter how the coloring background coloring setup is set to. Just make sure it's all black. Super easy. You just want it to display black on the background or whatever the background of your chart is here. That's really essentially all that we're doing. Okay. I had column 2. By the way, here column 3 just don't use. I had column 2 set up as another black background. Why is that? Because I want it to, you'll see. Set it up. I'll show you in a second why it works this way. So column 1 and column 2 are both just black backgrounds, okay? Column 3, don't use it. Right? This chart used to have another style. I built it from another style. I just copied the whole study collection. That's why this is all set. You don't need to set this. So column 3, don't worry about this. All right. You don't worry about pullback columns. You don't worry about any of this. Highlight point of control. None of it. Right? That's controlled in the other chart. The open and close marker style, you do care about this. You want it to be placed, it's a candlestick outline. Let's see, candlestick body filled. Wait a second. Oh yeah, sorry. My brain, I'm getting a little hungry. My brain thought this was a new setting and it's not. Okay, sorry. And I got all excited. I was like, what? I can do candlestick body filled and it'll have a wick. No, it doesn't. So you want to place it in column 2. And then change the colors here. Right? Make note of that color because that's the right color. Red 1, green 130, blue 235. Maybe you guys don't know about this. That's where you put it in, right? So you could make a really quick color here. If you type it in, then hit tab, the tab will take you to the next. It's really fast. Tab will take you to the next row down. So just it's a fast way to get around this. All of this, I think, does not matter. Just does not matter. Maybe this will matter a little bit. And then the spacing adjustment value, here's where it is. I had to tinker with this for a while, as well as how many columns to create, etc. So you're putting it in column 2. So there is a little column over here squished. But what I'm doing is I'm essentially here. I'm essentially, because I've created 2 columns up here that are black, all right? The first column, like if you were to visualize this, the first column here is over here and it's black. The second one is over here and it's black. I'm just taking these columns and I'm squishing them left, which is what's happening here. By this. So watch. So I'm going to remember it's 26. I don't want to forget that. Okay, so let's say I did 3. Watch the effect. See that? It's now using the right side of the column. Look. Go straight up. Boom. This is black. So I want to adjust this left. So let's go to 10. You see that? Oh, it's squishing the candle now against its column. 15. Squishing it some more. 20. A little more, but it's still overlapping the volume bars, so you don't want that. What did we have? 26? Okay, let's say 26. Let's see what it looks like. All right, 26. So that's what 26 looks like. And maybe you want to do 30. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. See that? Even smaller, right? So if you think that's cool, fine. I don't think that's cool. Maybe 28 is cool for you. I don't know. 28's kind of cool, right? Well, me, I like 26. Why? Because it gets me distance between the end of the candle here and this volume bar. I do like some visual separation between the two. That's just me. And I don't like it too thin. Say 20, what is it, 24? Am I going the right way? Yeah. You know, I don't want it too fat either, right? So 22 or something maybe. And then it's really close to overlapping the volume bars, so maybe 23. 23 might be stylistically okay, but anyway, I use 26. I like it. Okay, so now you think you're done, but you're not. So you see the order that these are in? That matters. So the footprint volume delta flow, which is just a numbers bar that we first created, you want to make sure that this is probably below this one if the ID is lower. So if that doesn't make sense to you, throw that out the door. And if when you build this, this isn't looking right exactly, change the order and then hit apply and then see what it does. Okay? So it's really simple. Okay, so all right. So there's that. Are you familiar with the volume profile and how to make the deltas show up with one volume by price steady? So this uses one volume by price steady. This is regular trading hours. This is extended trading hours, and it uses one volume by price steady. Right? Don't want to have like 3 or 4 on your chart. It just uses a little too much data. Yeah, I can go over it. No problem. No problem. So do you want me to go over the value area lines too? You know, that's another area of the chart. I guess maybe. Yeah, no problem. Maybe just going over this area here would be more useful. Right here. So there's a study. Yeah. Okay. So volume value area for bars study. Okay. And you know, this is if you want to display the value area for each bar. Not totally necessary in my opinion. I don't even have a label for it. But you know, if the bar was bigger, and let's say you're using a point and figure with 12 ticks of rotation, that would be more useful, right? Let's demonstrate that, right? Because you know, on these small range bars, they're not that useful. But let's say we switch this chart out to point and figure. Point and figure 1-12. So this is point and figure, right? So it's a little bit more useful because you end up getting range bars like this. So you see how the value area low is here, value area high is here, right? So it matters a little bit more because these are rotation based. So I recommend putting them in there. So let's go back to the, well, we could leave them on here. Let's go back to the study. So value area for bars study. And then the subgraphs are like this, right? Just gray, maybe some like something a little lighter than the bars so it pops. All right. Solid, draw style dash. Got to do draw style dash, otherwise you're going to have lines going straight up. You know, it's going to look stupid. You know, chart region 1%. Maybe you do, yeah, 68.2% to be really accurate. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so there's that. And mess with moving it up or down to get it to display over these bars. So again, the order sometimes will make a difference only because you know, some of these have to be set to draw these studies underneath the main price graph or whatever, because otherwise here's what's going to happen if you don't consider all of that. You're going to get studies over studies, and some you don't want to display over, and you're going to have studies that are over the top of other ones, and like you'll get a candle like this will go over the candle bar instead of under it, and it'll just look really shitty. Okay, so anyway, that's that study. Market depth historical graph, you probably don't care about that. I've got it set with these colors. I'm eventually going to do a whole different color scheme so that it doesn't mess with the background. This isn't too bad, but I'm going to do a whole nother color scheme so that it looks nice. There'll probably be like shades of white to very dark, almost black. And it'll look better. It won't mess with the background of the candle, so you'll still get some clarity on it. So anyway, I won't go over that right now. It's just too long. Okay, so let's see. There's that one. So there's the value area lines. What else am I missing here on that area? So I've got value area for the session, which is kind of up here. See this volume value area lines? Not for bar, so this is for bars. So volume value area lines, and this is just set up like so. Okay. And then the colors, and then I've got name labels on them. And again, dash with alternate. And this is important. Draw developing value area lines, yes. And then if you use the dash, you won't. If it did like stair step or something, these would be connected with lines like this. So for me, I like it like this. It's a little cleaner because when you switch to a new session, you know, these will move all the way sometimes up and where they're you know, they're going to be for the next session. So it just gets a little dirty, a little ugly. All right, so to create this down here, okay, we need to go to this study, number bars calculated value study, and just set everything up this way. So you may have to go back and pause this video or whatever, but I'm going to go a little faster here because this is going to take forever otherwise. So I have font size is important, all right? So get it to the right size. Okay, so I go do labels on the right because I like it down here. You don't have to do that. You can do labels here. I tried that. Didn't look right to me. Looking here. Sorry, let me look at something here. So you don't care about this because you're not referencing it. Reset day calculations. I set this all yes this way. Let's see. I'm not using this color background like this anymore. So I was originally trying to do something here and I abandoned that. Okay, so what you want to use for this one is, what is that? Ask volume, bit volume difference percent. Okay? So that's this here. All right. I do a separate study for each of these. You may be able to do one study and have all of these in here, or most of these in here. I do a separate study because it visually looks better with the lines. I'm an aesthetics guy, so whatever. The bar delta is here. Again, it's the number of bars calculated values. You can see region 3. I just call it bar delta, whatever. You can look at these studies. And you guys will probably have to go back and look at this video again. Okay. I am coloring the background, but I wanted the background. I started having backgrounds that were lighter and less, it was just the whole thing, but I couldn't, it was very difficult for me to do the percentage of to match. So I'd rather they match rather than this be lighter and then this be a little darker. So I'm just making it one solid same color. Okay, so there's that. And then so this one is the ask volume bid volume difference. Okay, that gets you the number in here. Okay. Again, this is region 2, this is region 3 in the settings. Okay, and then make sure you put your text, set your text here to white so that it pops like that. Okay, so you'll see that when you rewind the video or whatever. Okay, so that's done, and then your bar volume, which is down here. Now I've got this colored according to high volume lightens up, and I like that because I want to know if a bar has a whole bunch of volume in it, because delta as a percentage of total volume for the bar is going to hold a lot more weight than in a low volume bar, even if the percentage is greater. All right, maybe take a second to think about that. Why? Okay, anyway, don't want to get into trading theory. Okay, so that matters to bring attention to this. Okay, so let's get into the settings for that. So this is, where's volume? There it is. So volume. Okay, total volume in there. All right. What I could manage to do was place a cumulative delta in combination with the numbers bars calculated values. Yeah, you can do that. I have my cumulative delta in the chart here, but you can place it over this area here. It's easy. So I'll show you that when I get to this session cumulative delta. You can place it down here. But again, it's not going to be that. It's going to just follow the deltas essentially almost exactly here, because that's what this is in a way it's measuring. So I like to look at it in a different way up here on the chart, and because basically, watch, that's my session deltas. So now I can see divergences a little better when I use left side scale. All right, see that? And you can adjust it. So it's a much cooler feature than using it here, because you wouldn't be able to adjust it independently. as well. It would mess with this whole. Well, you might be able to adjust it, but I prefer this. It gives me a much better visual. It's how I knew to get, well, how I thought to get long last night. This helped me tremendously in looking at the divergence in real time on this chart. So anyway, where was I? Let's see, studies. I did volume, I did this. No, I only showed the percentages here being put in region 2. So I need to show you how to get these bars displaying like this. And that took me forever. This is what I asked Ticino Trader for help with. And he just never responded. Had he responded and given me the information, I wouldn't even be sharing this chart. Because I'd feel like, well, you know, he helped me. So that's what I was talking about earlier. So good for you guys that he never responded, right? Now I can share this with the clear conscience. Let's see. Bar delta. Okay. So what you want to do is you're using, this is tricky, study, subgraph, multiply. Follow this exactly. You're putting it in chart region 2, or the same chart region that has the delta percentage. Okay? You're basing it on bar percent delta. So the number bar study that you have there, the input delta data is this one, ask volume, bid volume difference percent. Put the multiplier as 1, right? So it's not inverting anything. Okay, it's in chart region 2. Make sure the scale is automatic 0 based. This is what I stayed up till 5 in the morning trying to figure out, by the way. Drove me mad. And then for the subgraph, you want to make sure it's auto coloring based on positive, negative, and then put the colors in this order. Okay? So I'm not going to explain the math behind it, or maybe you would understand, but I just most people won't, so I'm just not gonna. So do that, save it, and then create another one, a study subgraph multiply. So again, that gets you some of the positive numbers, but it's basing it, so it's basing the scale automatic 0 based, so it's cutting off essentially what's going negative. So that's the scale is 0 based, right? So it's cutting off what's being negative displayed here. So because it's 0 based here. So you need to invert what's not being cut off, or what is being cut off, and not show what is displaying for that level. Okay, so you need to invert that study and invert the colors to get the opposite effect and have them show above the 0 line. Okay, so here's how we do that. Told you it was tricky. You do the same with everything based on bar percent delta, delta ask volume minus bid volume, right? That study that we just made. The multiplier goes -1. It's inverted. It's still 0 based, so it's only going to show above the 0 line, but we're inverting it. Now look what the colors are, inverted. So based on positive, negative. That's it. But you got to invert the colors as well, otherwise it's not going to make sense either. So follow the colors like this. All right, so notice on the other one that was blue, and then this one's pink. So I don't know how other people achieve this, but this is how I achieve it. I would imagine there's different ways of doing this, but this is what works best for me. It's clean. Someone, it was Miguel, I think Malaga, said you could do a spreadsheet and then use the spreadsheet to bring those values or those values in and display them as a bar. So that's another way to do it. Okay, so now you have this, essentially this background. So that should get you everything there. Let's see, you've got this, that. Okay, so now the cumulative delta bars, and then we get the volume profiles. Okay, so the cumulative delta bars, you're using obviously the last or the close. Sorry. Joe, I don't know. I'm thinking about whether I'm going to save it or not, to be honest. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have it here on Twitch for 14 days. I think that's how long Twitch will keep it up. But I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on YouTube yet. We'll see. So obviously you're using this for the close, and then I do always reset at each session, start a trading day. Okay, so almost bit my own tongue. Chart region, you're putting it in whatever chart region you want. So if you wanted, yeah, it's just a whole thing. I'm getting a bunch of DMs on various platforms right now, and I haven't looked at them. But I am stepping on toes a little bit here. I think there are some folks who have businesses centered around building chart books and stuff. I just happen to know how to do it, and this is why I don't ask anybody anything with Sierra Chart. I've never, let's see, in the past year of using Sierra Chart, I think I've been on the forum asking questions 2 or 3 times, if that, and then I really haven't asked anybody, except there was a trader early last year that I was essentially making all the calls for, and he was helping me with Sierra Chart a little bit, but wasn't that much. Just a tiny bit. I was also helping him. We were trading buddies, but it's because I push myself to understand all this stuff, and that's how I eventually get it down. So it's in a way, like me sharing this right now, I don't care that I'm stepping on toes because this all came from my mind, except for the ideas of how to make it all look like that. But hey, we all put fucking MACDs and RSI and make candles look the same on our charts, and that's all this is. It's not a custom study or anything, and I didn't rip anything off from anybody. So, but at the same time, I don't know. I do kind of want to be mindful of some of these guys, and it's their business. So I got to think about it a little bit more, and I want to look at what some of these DMs are saying to me. So anyway, so this, I'm obviously displaying it in chart region 1. And I'm doing it independently. Okay, I'm using left side scale. That's important. Now I'm gonna have to go back and enable left side scale on the chart itself. So that's probably dang, I want to use your Discord name and I forgot what it was. But R3 Snowmore. That's probably where you're getting stuck a little bit. So use a left side scale, make sure it's independent as far as the scaling of the region. And so yeah, anyway, that's how you set that up for the cumulative deltas, and it'll show up in region 1 or region 2 or whatever. And then of course, I put little short names on there. I put the enables, I align it right. I put the value on there, and then I put it on the left side's values so that, here, we're covering it up. so that it's here, because I don't want it over here with price, right? It's using this, and it's the only study that's using this. And as we know, cumulative deltas often have a wide range, so it's the only thing I want using this. So I don't want to fuck with cumulative deltas left side value scale. It's special. It gets its own. Okay, so that's what that is. So it's it's aligned left. Again, we could have aligned it right here. Here, let's just do that real quick to demonstrate it. Chart region 2. We can apply it. See that? Oh, let's see. I want to see how it behaves when I. There you go. Yeah, you can adjust it. See? Right? But what would you expect? The deltas are going to follow exactly. Look. So it's a better visual outlaid on the candles or over the candles. Because that's what you're really comparing with the deltas. A lot of times you're comparing, is price moving against aggression or passivity? So that's why I like it up there. Okay, so studies. Where are you, cumulative delta bars? I'm getting hungry, guys. I am hungry. When I get hungry, I lose focus a little bit, and it's been a while since I've eaten. And I have been walking all day under my underdesk treadmill, so I've been burning calories. Like, did another 3 miles at a fairly rapid pace today, so makes a huge difference. So anyway, there we go. Now we can adjust it. See that? It's beautiful. Come on. It's beautiful. You know it's beautiful. So you can even see the deltas here. Pull back, right? Already made a higher high on the deltas relative to this area, but price is struggling. So it's in resistance. And if we look at the RTH volume by price, there's a volume node. So there's resistance, right? This is the top of value for RTH. This is not value. So folks are like, well, this is value. I'm going to sell. See that? Otherwise, we're going to have to migrate up and make new value. So, right? Rotation, 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 value. So it's stupidly helpful to have it up here on the chart. Just letting you know. It's a cool little thing. So the next thing is you're like, well, where do you enable that? So it's up here in advanced settings. Advanced settings. Use left side scale. Yeah, man. It's super, super, super cool. R3 Snowmore. JH Chai 1997. Just it's super inexpensive. Sierra Chart is awesome. This is Sierra Chart, man. Yeah, I don't know what you're using, but I'll bet you if you're using a retail platform, I could break it down for you in 5 minutes and demonstrate that this would save you money net at the end of the month, just because of commissions and stuff like that. But it's of course based on your volume. But even if you did like 10 micros a day, you'd save money with Sierra Chart. And then you'd have all these tools and all the sweet execution, all the awesome data. It's a whole thing, man. I could be a full-time salesman for Sierra Chart if I was exposed to traders nonstop. Oops. Oh, some screens popped off here. If I was exposed, it sells itself. It's like I'm not affiliated with Sierra Chart in any way. Just putting that out there. So anyway, use left side scale, right? And then that activates it. And then of course, with your study, you're saying use it. And then so that's essentially how it works. If you put multiple ones on there, you're gonna get into issues where one is gonna use it, the other. It's a whole thing. So you could mess with that and try it and see how it works. Move the study order around, etc. Excuse me, we still haven't done the volume by price studies. 2 hours in. That's actually less time than I thought. Less time relative to what I put into this. Let me tell you that. I probably put 5 hours into this chart to figure it out and just sit there and grind, especially with the number bars. Like, how the fuck do I get it to display like this? Ticino Trader did it, but it was all wonky up to the right. I didn't like it. And I didn't have any It's not like I had his chart book or anything. I'm not subscribed to him. I did, again, first like 3 months of last year, and then when he moved over to his own server, he canceled all his Patreon, and I just never moved over, but I was going to. So anyway, maybe I can't move over. Maybe he'll know who I am now and be like, fuck that guy. He showed people how to make my chart books. I don't know. He certainly wasn't willing to help at all when I asked a question, which I kind of understand. I get it. Should have helped, especially if this is a moneymaker chart book, but whatever. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight is 2020, my friends. So we're going to work on the RTH volume by price study. As you can see, I'm a little fixated on that, right? I'm a newer Sierra chart user, 1 year in. Let's see. Okay, so it's draw mode, volume profiles. I do ticks is 1, obviously. Multiple profiles from start time to end time. This is set to no. Start time. Use whatever your time zone you're in and however it's set up. So you say yes. All right. I'm Pacific Standard Time, so this is where it's defined. I'm not using a separate profile for the evening session because I'm doing a whole nother study for it. Okay, because I want the colors to be set up in a different way for this study, just slightly less bright. And it doesn't allow me in Sierra Chart to do different colors for the overall color scheme, right? It does allow for some things to be slightly different, but not the transparency and all that other good stuff. So max volume bar width type window. All right, I like it set to the window. So however wide this window is, if you say 15%, 15% would be the width of the window, right? So I like to have the RTH a little bigger than the Globex, ever so slightly. I think I have it a slightly different. I just know that this left column is RTH and the right side is ETH, but I was trying to get fancy there for a little bit, so I just went 15%. And part of the reason is because if you go any smaller than that, your delta bars won't have enough length on them. You can adjust them. You'll see. Well, you'll see how it works out. There's a whole. I'm not going to go into all the reasons because it'll take me too long to get through the video and all those settings. But essentially, the way I set it up through a lot of trial and error, this looks good and it works. Okay, so right aligned volume bars, yes. Okay. Total bar calculation, total volume. All right. Bid and ask volume coloring method, difference of bid and ask volume. Coloring, okay. Draw outline when coloring bid and volume, yes. You can mess with this. Draw the difference of bid and ask volume using percent. I have it no. You can mess with it and see what its effect does. Use transparency, transparent draw style, yes. It's only 5% transparent. Why? Because I want to have the white from here pop with the POC of the white of the POC. So this is, see how it's a little brighter? This is slightly gray. If the transparency goes up, you're not going to get that pop anymore. Okay? So just saying. You're not extending any value areas. You are highlighting value area. You're highlighting point of control. You're not extending it. I use a different study for that, right? I use the value area, whatever lines, for session POCs. Volume bar draw method, filled volume bars. Allow side-by-side profiles on the right side. Yes, that allows you side-by-side. Use defined width. Yes. For side-by-side, we're defining the width, right? All of this, you could just go back and look at it. I like to put the volume for the session, the deltas, and then the total range of the session. That's all that is. Okay, so that's what this is here. Chart value to be displayed. Volume, delta, range, right? Ask volume minus bid volume is delta, obviously. Show chart values on profile with labels. So, right, just like that. You could do it in a single line. Well, then it's not going to stay underneath. So I do it for each of them, ETH and RTH. Okay. Oh, sorry. Is there a way to share settings instead of building it from scratch? Yes, there is. I could actually share the whole chart book with you, but I don't do that. And that is what you would pay somebody like Ticino Trader for. He will charge you like a monthly subscription fee. I think it's €4 for chart books. I did look at his site about 1 or 2 weeks ago, and that's what it was. And I followed him on Twitter again. I hadn't followed him for a long time because I didn't want to have any dependency on anybody that was building stuff. I wanted to learn everything for myself. And so that's what I've been trying to help folks do on YouTube is in a lot of my videos is I'm trying to, teach people to fish for themselves. And in doing so, I'm hoping a lot of people will give back to me as well because they're going to come up with all kinds of ideas. So if you can't do it, subscribe to Ticino Trader, and it's like, well, maybe it takes you too much time to do all of this, which I understand completely. I do this full time, so I do appropriate time to do all of this, and it's part of my toolkit, right? As a professional trader. If you don't have time, you do this on the side. By all means, go subscribe. It's $5-6 American or whatever is the euro's trading at right now. I mean, that is value. I'm telling you, that is great, great value. I am just doing this to help folks out. That's it. I'm not getting paid shit for any of this. So, here, yeah, I'll put it in the chat. You just Google that, you'll get to his website. He has Twitter. Yeah, he's well known, been around a long time. So, R3 Snowmore. So remember I was talking. Remember I was talking about backgrounds and stuff like that. And the order. I'm just trying to think about it. I did run into that problem with backgrounds, and I can't remember if I fixed it by moving the order of studies to hide behind whatever main study or make background. And if you change the order of studies, that may solve it. At the end of the day, I just didn't. I just forgot to add it back because I had messed with that, and I was probably 4 or 5 in the morning when I finished, and I just haven't thought about it since. So, but yeah, changing the order of studies, especially when you're saying the study is a background, will make a difference on all of that. So tinker with it. I'm not going to do it now because I'm going over this. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it might work that way. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just going back through. I've been so focused on my screen. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I almost want to try it right now because I do like highlighting the difference between the sessions. But you should know. Here's another way to do it, my friend. If you lose track of what session you're in or whatever, or you want to know when the RTH is coming in, just use a time. I think it's time range. Let's see. Nope. It's not that. See, you got me curious. I build these things and I don't come back to them for a while. So this is a timeline study. So just use a timeline study on this. So like, where are you? Timeline. See that? Watch this. So let's just say, where are we at? 16 o'clock. Display custom label. All right, see how I have mine saved already. ETH. Display the custom label. Yes. The label vertical position as a percentage of 0 to 100 or 0 to 100 in region 1, chart region 1, 98. Display and forward projection area. In other words, if you draw a line here, do you want to be able to see one over here? Yes. Okay. So the label is ETH. All right. Oh, we'll call this EC. Oh, he's got to be good. ETH label, whatever. Doesn't matter. I just, so the actual timeline, you want to do transparent bar top, transparent bar bottom for the bottom, and then you can do something like this. All right. And then the label, maybe you want it, I don't know, the same. I don't know. It's using the custom text right here, custom label text. Apply it. Where are you, label? Are you up there somewhere? 16. Yeah, we're at 16, so it should be coming up. I don't know. See, I'm tired. I might be missing stuff right now. Where are you? 16, 16, 16. Oh, it's cut off. Why? Because this is point and figure. See? See? See what you guys are doing to me? 5 minute. Okay, here. No, not time range highlight. This, right? So now it's not really going to fuck up your candle structure behind. Because if you did a time range highlight, because this is black, and then each one of these is a line and it's see-through, if you did a time range highlight, it would bleed through right here. But if you do like this, you'll know you're in the Globex session or whatever, right? And then for RTH, right, I've got this lock fill space on, so I'll go ahead and unclick it. So when RTH came up at like whatever, way over here, you could have like an RTH line. So it wouldn't be a background, but it could be just a line. That's still clean, and then it doesn't fuck up all your candles. I don't know. Let's see, where are you? ETH label, remove. That's one idea. Let's see here. Back into the study that is. So VPOC, going back to this volume by price study, we went through the settings. VPOC's white. The volume bars, outline and fill color. So here's your outline. It's black, right? So let's move this over as we're making changes. So you want it to look black like this. So it kind of pops a little bit. You don't have to. In these charts over here, I don't have any black outlines because I like to scrunch them and everything. And then the black outline, because it's a black outline, if you scrunch it down, say, the black outlines meet, and then all of a sudden this just is a black outline. But again, it's a footprint chart, so I'm not really ever scratching it like that. So I think it looks nice this way. But does the black outline here, because of the black background, does it affect the delta bar? Yes, it does. But I don't care that much about that because I don't primarily use this chart to look at delta bars. I use a different chart in a little bit more detail, and that chart is my TPO chart. Right? I like to look at deltas here. It's just where I do it. But do I like having deltas there? Sure. Right? You can see deltas here. Right? You can see. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. So back to the flow footprint chart, and yeah, R3 Snowmore, no problem, my friend. RTH, right? So obviously, let's see. this value area high and low. At one point I was using it. Well, that setting's off, so it's not even going to show up. So even though it shows here, don't copy all of that. So anyway, volume bars, outline and fill here. RTH value area and outline. See how it's flipped? It's funny. Just a little Sierra chart thing. The bars color is here, and then the bars color is here. Anyway, so make the value area a little bit lighter, right? Relative to this bright volume point of control, right? See how it's less bright? That's how we get that pop, okay? So point of control, bid and ask volume, set these. It says ignore, but they're not being ignored in the settings, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, it's so confusing for new Sierra chart users. I know. I wish it would automatically set these visible, but you know, Sierra chart assumes that you understand the logic of the setting in the settings and input, and that it activates this, but they don't do it for you. It's whatever. It might slow down the program if they did it that way. Whatever. I don't know. Or it might just be a slightly lazy program. Or there might be a good reason to have that in there, and I'm not addressing it. So anyway, bid and ask volume. Want to make sure that this is set here as well. And that's about it. Right? So you just essentially you do the same thing for the ETH, right? And then you make the transparency, instead of 5%, make it 10% or 7 or 8 or 9%, and it'll be a slightly different color from this one. Even though you guys may not notice it, it is slightly different. And so you set it all up the same, but then you do the time. Then you do the time. Oh, so the width percentage is 15. So I see I changed it already. So, but then you just do your start time and end time, just different according to what you want. And that's it. Then you get the whole freaking flow. Volume delta chart. Anyway, I'm going to go hang out with my family. That was my deal with my wife. She went to the Trader Joe's. We have these pretty cool little grocery stores in California. And I really wanted to go, but I was like, you know, if I stay and kind of work on some stuff, is that preferred over, and then if I hang out with you the rest of the night, is that preferred over me going with you now and then me doing it, all this stuff I wanted to do later? She was like, yeah, that way we could hang out tonight. So it's now time for me to go chill with the fam. Yeah, no problem. I kind of enjoy this. I like teaching. I like showing people. It makes me feel good because like there's no monetary benefit for me, obviously. So anyway, I'm glad when you guys say you appreciate it. That's what makes me feel good about it. So, and then I'll probably at some point in the distant future, maybe watch this or listen to it back or something and be like, bah, I can communicate so much better. And then I'll analyze myself. But have a good one, guys. Take it easy.